Stacks of books. I've got stacks of books everywhere in my home. Stacks of books just sitting there reminding me that I spent money on these books, that I had an intention to read them, but that I'm never going to have the time. And these stacks just keep getting higher and higher and higher. I now have entire bookshelves to manage these stacks of books that I'm never going to have time to read. That's why one of my biggest goals this year is to learn how to speed read. And I bet this would absolutely benefit you too, because if you're part of the Mindvalley community, one of your operating principles is the idea of growth as a goal. You're the type of person who seeks to consistently grow. Reading is one of the best ways for that. But reading just seems so slow sometimes in terms of all the amounts of information that's becoming readily available to us. So I was looking at speed reading programs, but I soon learned that speed reading wasn't necessarily the answer. The answer that I'm about to share with you is significantly different. But first, let me just look at some responses that you guys had given me. So I put up a Facebook post recently about my issue with my stack of books, and it ended up getting like thousands of likes, 500 something comments, with people just talking about how they had that similar pain, right? So we did a little survey to our Mindvalley community, and this is what we found. We found that 42% of you say you do not finish the books you read. 25% of you say you read too slow. 22% say you just don't retain information from books you read. So of course, these are common problems. So here's my current stack of books, right? This is the same stack in that picture I shared with you guys. I don't know if I'm ever going to have time to go through these books. But look, if you guys want to be crazy smart and you want to retain information faster, what if the answer isn't to read a book? What if the answer is that you can take a book and somehow absorb the information of the book in your mind and then be able to live life where you're able to activate and act on this information? So I know this sounds weird, but as I was looking into speed reading courses, what I discovered is that there's a whole new realm that people are exploring right now called non-conscious acquisition of information. Non-conscious. And it looks something like this. You take a book and you're not speed reading it, you are flipping a page a second. This is actually what it looks like. You're flipping a page a second and you're not conscious of what you're absorbing, but your subconscious is absorbing this material. And later when you get quizzed on these ideas, you're able to pull them out. So it's not so much reading as one friend described it as Google for your brain. You are mentally absorbing the information from all of these books. Your subconscious views this information, saves it in your mind, and through a process of activation, you're able to pull the information out when you need it. Now, it's a different approach. It doesn't replace reading. Rather, it's a rapid way of growing yourself by absorbing relevant information that you're going to need in life. This process is called photo reading. And this is what we're going to be exploring on Mindvalley Academy. So let me just give you an idea of what photo reading looks like in the real world. So one photo reading student is a lady by the name of Patricia Danielson, right? And this is how she described her experience. She was going to France on a tour, and when she arrived in France, she went into a bookstore, purchased 20 books on French culture and touring France, and then she photo read this book. Now, when you photo read a book, you're reading a page a second. She's not conscious of the information that's going into her, but that information is going into her brain. And she said later when she was on a tour with a tour guide, she could almost finish the tour guide sentences. She would know more information about the particular location or place than the tour guide. That information was emerging as she needed it. That's what photo reading is about. You can take a stack of books like this and through the process of non-conscious acquisition of information, go through this entire stack in one day, roughly at a rate of about 30 minutes a book, according to photo reading's founder, Pawel Lewicki. So we're going to be bringing photo reading to the Mindvalley Academy. And I invite you guys to check out this masterclass that I've recorded with Paul so you can understand what photo reading is about. But it's important to stress this. I was searching for a speed reading program, but I realized that speed reading only gets you so far. If you're looking at truly what the problem is, and as you said, how to be crazy smart and how to retain information, you need a different solution that our modern education may not yet have given us. And that solution is the non-conscious absorption of information from the written page. So photo reading is based on a 5-step process. And I'll just give you an idea of what this process looks like. First, you prepare for the book you want to absorb. Then you preview the book, which is sort of like skimming through the book to get a sense of how it's laid out, the table of contents. Then step 3 is when you photo read it. When you photo read it, you're doing it at a page a second. Then you activate the information. And that's a stranger process. When you listen to the masterclass, you'll understand what Pawel Lewicki means by activation. And finally, you rapid read the book. This is where you read the actual book. And it may take you about half an hour to 1 hour for a single book. It takes me typically 7 hours for a book. So to be able to go from 7 hours to say 1 hour, that's a 700% improvement. But the other thing you notice is that the information stays with you and you can recall the information better. In one demonstration of photo reading, Pawel Lewicki would do this. He would have people photo read a dictionary. Then he would ask them, where did you see the word canary? And not only would they be able to recall in their mind the exact position on the page where they saw that word, even though it was one out of hundreds of thousands of words, but they could recall whether it was on the left side or the right side of the page and how many words down. This is just a way Pawel Lewicki demonstrates the power of this non-conscious acquisition of information. So on this masterclass, you're going to learn more on the concept of photo reading to see if this is something you want to explore. You'll actually learn actual tips and techniques to speed up your reading in the class itself. So even if you do nothing else but just watch this free class, you will learn to improve your reading speed. At the end of the class, I'll ask Paul to talk about photo reading and how if you want to take the full course, which I'm going to be taking next month, you can enroll at a very reasonable cost as a Mindvalley member. That's it. Thank you, and I'll see you on this class.